akin. Nababaliw ako sa'yo. Sorry. Saan na pala kayo? Sorry. Hello mga kababayan! Welcome to episode 2 of our love series. If you haven't watched the first video on the psychology of attraction, please make sure you check that out. Yes, mababaw tayong lahat. My name is Diane and I have not experienced being stupid and in love, so I can't relate to you. Joke lang. We've all had our marupok moments, and for this video, I will be talking about the science behind the saying that love makes you blind. In my first psychology video on depression, I talked about neurotransmitters. Specifically, dopamine. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in your brain that affect your emotions and your mood, among other things. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter in your brain that is responsible for making you feel good or feel rewarded. Here, let me show you some clips to release some dopamine in your brain. Did that feel good? Well, that's because your brain just released a rush of dopamine. And when we're in love, our brain constantly releases dopamine and other feel-good chemicals. But that's not even the most shocking part. When looking at brain scans of people who are in love, it looks like some parts of their brain are deactivated. In other words, it's like parts of your brain aren't functioning when you're in love. So, hindi ko pala kasalanan kung nagiging bobo ako pag in love ako. Now, let's talk about two parts of the brain called the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala allows us to detect fearful situations. When we're in love, there's less activity in the amygdala, and this explains why sometimes you may feel safer when your partner is around. Sana all may ganon. Now, the other region is called the prefrontal cortex, and this is responsible for judgment and logic. And some studies have shown that when we're in love, our prefrontal cortex is deactivated. This explains why kahit may red flags na yung relationship nyo, you can't think clearly and say ayoko na. Or yung parang nababaliw ka na sa pagmamahal mo kahit toxic na yung relationship nyo. Dahil lang sa pagmamahal mo sa isang tao. And what psychologists have seen is that this is very common in the initial stages of a relationship. But what should you do about it? It's almost a fact that you'll want to do dumb things out of your love for somebody. That's not the question. But just because you want to do those dumb things doesn't mean that you have to do it. Number 1, be aware. Now that you know that your brain is pretty much working against you when you're so in love, be aware of what unhealthy relationships look like. Ask a counselor or even a couple that you look up to. Be aware of what a healthy relationship looks like. Number 2, create separation. Hindi porket kayo na ay ibig sabihin nun wala ka nang pakialam sa kaibigan mo o sa pamilya mo. You need to surround yourself with trusted people who can support you outside of your romantic relationship. Number 3, practice being more critical. Hindi naman yung OA na parang kahit anong gawin ng partner mo, lagi kang may sumbat sa kanya. No, not that type of critical. But try to see your new relationship as objectively as possible. Recognize that your partner is not perfect. If your partner doesn't appreciate you or physically or verbally abuse you, know that you don't deserve that. If in the initial stages of a relationship is already toxic, there is nothing romantic about that. Know when to walk away. That's it, Pansit! Very short video today, but I hope that you enjoyed it. Now, pwede kang magpasikat sa mga friends mo, sabihin mo, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, dopamine. I'm sure hindi nila alam to. So please don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe and comment any other questions or anything that you just want to talk about. And I will see you next week.